name is Mtuga. I'm calling you from. Hello? I'm calling you from. Hello? 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 Yes, it's a fine morning, and today I'm going to talk about selling. Okay, so just like I said, I'm going to give a series of videos that are going to equip you with the skills, with the tools, with the tricks, and some of them I would call them secrets of selling like a beast. So today I'm going to talk about something called cold calling. Cold calling. Cold calling basically is soliciting business through a phone call where the person on the other side of the call has got no previous contact with you. They've got no previous, you've never engaged them per se in any conversation. You don't know each other. Basically, you're calling a stranger and soliciting for business. Okay, so that's cold calling in a nutshell. It's one of the hardest things, and it's one of the things that can go really wrong, okay, and maybe mess up your day, right? But sometimes, especially, there has never been a time like today when cold calling is so important. The skills on how you can make a cold call are very important today than any other time before. You know why? Because we are living in COVID times. And in COVID times, contact is discouraged. All right, so we're working from home. We are trying as much as possible to avoid going to people's offices. People don't want you in their offices. So now, how can you market? How can you make calls? How can you make sales? How can you just boost on a daily basis as if it's business as usual? All right? Like I always say, we are always selling. Don't sell yourself short. Let me take a sip and we get right to it. Today I'm drinking something very amazing. I'm taking, what do they call it? Stinging nettle. So, right, let's get to it. So I'm going to teach you 3 things, okay? 3 P's of cold calling. The 3 P's of cold calling. And I'm going to have my book. I hope you have your notebook. Just in case you're not taking notes, I'll challenge you. Let me tell you something, right? The moment you take things casually, right? When you think, oh, okay, I just landed this video, what does he have to tell me? Let me tell you, you've got something to learn every day, okay? The student mentality is a winning mentality, okay? So when I tell you, pick a pen and a paper, right? Pause the video, grab a pen and a paper, and if you can, grab your green tea, grab your whatever it is that makes you comfortable, because this is a lecture and I want you to be comfortable. I want you to absorb material. I want you to have a good time and to learn. I'm going to teach you the 3 P's of making a cold call successfully, just like a boss. Because you're a boss, you are in charge of your situation, and the moment you take charge, the moment you learn stuff like this, the moment you engage stuff like this, the moment you take notes on stuff like this, you're taking charge, you are the boss, and you'll be kicking us out there. So, P number 1, right? I'm gonna write it down. This is a blank piece of paper, nothing written on it, we write it together. P number 1. It's called permission. Okay? So just write permission. Permission. When you make a cold call, most cold calls are dropped within the first 10 seconds. Right? This is out of research. This is no stuff. I cannot make this stuff up, even if I wanted. But it is a fact that the first 10 seconds, that's a very short period of time, your cold call will either be dropped. But if you go to the next level, if you go past 10 seconds, then the rest of the videos in here are going to save your life. So, what am I talking about? Permission. You see, when you make a cold call, you don't know what I'm out, right? You don't know if I might be a surgeon, for crying out sake. I might be in an office. I might be driving. I might be tending to my kids. It can be anything. So you've got no right whatsoever to call me, all right? I did not ask for the call. This is a cold call. So it's very important for you to have good etiquette, to practice good etiquette, and to ask for permission before you even proceed, right? So it doesn't matter how fantastic your product is. That is irrelevant. Okay, you could be selling us oxygen and we have a patient who needs oxygen. I don't know. I'm just saying that it is too much audacity to call anyone on a cold call and proceed to talk about your product without asking for permission. Now, throughout this talk, I'm going to show you a few pointers because, like I said, you have 10 seconds to squeeze in the 3 P's. The 3 P's of a successful cold call, not of a nice pitch that will get you a cold call going to the next over 10 seconds, where now you get to sell your product, right? Good. So permission. So when you make a call, you've got to ask someone, is it a good time to call? I would like to take, and be very clear, I'd like to take 2 minutes of your time. I'd like to take 5 minutes of your time. Is it a good time to talk, right? But in the same breath, there's always a question of what are we talking about, right? So the moment you make the call and make introduction, yeah, you might be very excited about your company. It could be you're selling insurance covers, which is also very tricky. But you need to go past the introduction. It should be very brief. What's your name? Where you're calling from? And then you're moving to state the 3 P's. You must squeeze them in those first 10 seconds. So the first one is permission. And it does not have to be the first thing you will do, but it is very decent to have it as the first one, all right? You can briefly go to the second one, but the first one is the first, okay? What I'm trying to say is in the 10 seconds, you must squeeze in the 3 P's, and permission is very important. You cannot move forward without permission. Okay, and in a later on, I'm going to simulate a cold call for you, so that you see how to make a cold call and leave the other person feeling fantastic, and actually engage them and get information and be able to move to the next level in your sales game, right? So permission number 1: ask the other person if they've got time, right? If they've got a minute. If it's a good time to have this conversation, right? And some people, they just think when someone tells you, sorry, I can't talk right now, that it means that they don't want to buy from you. People are generally busy. Try me, call me anytime, and I'm always busy, right? I'm not saying I won't pick your call. If you're a good salesperson, you're gonna hack it. I'm just trying to tell you that there is no time you will find me that in my schedule of a day, in my day schedule, that I'm just there waiting for your call, right? So what I'm trying to say is you need to ask for permission. Get permission, right? Ask, is it a good time to talk? I'd like to know if you can afford a few minutes to have a conversation. I promise it's not going to take long. Now that takes me to the next point, which is point number 2, promise. You see, when people are being, so we've got number 1, yes, I know it's a little piece of paper. Like I said, all the time I'm going to use these papers. And yes, I know people use blackboards, but there's a reason. So I've got permission and I've got promise, right? So we've got number 1, permission. We're done with it. Let's go to the promise. So you see, for me to invest my time, because these people are going to invest a little bit more, okay? You've done your introduction, that's investment on their time. You've given them, you've asked for permission, and they've granted it. That's also investment. And the fact that they've granted the permission to have this conversation, it means that they want to invest more. Now, what you need to buy is attention and some sense of reception. Okay, you want them to accommodate your idea. So you need to give them a promise. Okay? Now, what is your promise? Your promise, one, you must promise that the time they invest is going to be worth their while. Okay? Number two, you must promise not to waste their time. In short, you must promise to keep it brief and to keep it to the point. Write down that. You must promise to keep it brief, promise to keep it brief and to the point. And that, in the end, is going to be worth their while. That's very important. Right? So you've made your call, you've made your promise, and you've made your call, you've asked for permission, granted. You've got permission granted, right? So what do? You want them to invest attention. You want them to be open, right? Well, how do you make them open? You give them a promise that you won't take long, and a promise that it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be something worth their while. Once you're done with that, now you go to the third P. I'll keep it brief today. Like I said, I want my videos to be straight to the point. I want to give you real talk. We don't want to waste. Let's even stop talking about that, but let's keep it real. So, point number 3. What are you supposed to do after that? Number 3. Point. Be on point. Okay? Stick to the script. Be brief and be on point, like I said. So, be on point. Do not start engaging the person, your potential client, or the person on the call on unnecessary, mundane, or rather irrelevant conversations, right? People do not have time for that kind of stuff. So get straight to the point and start telling the most important things about the product or service that you're selling. Okay? So you're gonna go like, hey, so I have this fantastic product that I think you will love, or I think your kid's gonna love, or I think that suits you, and you always have to be on the last two all the time. You've got to be on a promise and a point, a promise and a point. Like, so you'll be like, hey, so I've got this fantastic, service product that I think you're gonna love. That's a promise, right? The point is you've got a fantastic. So I'm in the business of selling insurance covers, but with a difference. And if you stick around with me, I'm going to prove to you that this is not traditional insurance. That's a promise, okay? Then give the point. What is it? What is it? And make it very brief. So you've got to capture the most important things that you need to say in a cold call. Then, as you do that, this is not in the piece, but you need to note that you should always ask more permission in a different way. All right? Engage the person. It is something, I said it's not in the piece, but it's actually permission. Only put in a different way. So, for example, I'm talking, I've said my name, I've pitched my product, I've given a promise, and I have given points. So how do you continue? Like I said, when you get past the 10 seconds, even as you go along, you must keep the 3 P's rotating in your conversation all the time. Permission, more promise, and point. More permission, more points, and promise. More points, more permission, and more points, and more promises. All right? That must always be in your conversation. So, how do you ask for more permission? Here's the thing. So you say, hey, so this product is so fantastic, I think it's gonna save you money. How does that sound? How does that sound? Is asking for more permission. It's checking. You're checking, should I continue? Right? That's if they say yes, I think it sounds fantastic. Keep going. Keep going. That's what they might say. Keep going. I think it sounds fantastic. Tell me more. Tell me more. What does that? What are they telling you? This? Tell me more. They're telling you they want to hear more. They're giving you more permission. So what are you doing now? You've asked for more permission. So you give more points and you give another promise. Now, like I say, 3 things. I'll keep it brief. I don't want to waste your time because I know you're busy, right? These 3 things are the things that you must squeeze in the first 10 points of your cold call if you want to make it in this kind of marketing, okay? In this kind of selling. You miss these 3 points and you're gonna have the phone hang up before you mention Jeff Moots. Okay? So, like I say, there's a lot in the street smart, in the world of selling, in the psychology of influence, all right? And some of this stuff, you probably learned them, they were probably not taught to you, or maybe you've forgotten them. But in the street, these things are daily bread. This is the bread and butter of selling. This is the real deal. And like I said, I will keep it real, I'll keep it short, I'll keep it to the point, and I wanted you to know these things. Practice these things, and I promise you that onwards, you will sell like a beast. You will have a cold call and you will have a lot of fun with it. So I'm going to leave you with a small clip that's going to show you how to make a cold call and squeeze in the 3 P's within the first 10 seconds and get your client going with you all the way up to 10 minutes if you want. All right, the video is not 10 minutes, it's about the first 10 seconds about how to make sure that you engage the person and get a hearing about whatever it is you're pitching, right? So like I always say, this is your channel, this is your home, right? I want you to engage me. I do this for you, believe me, right? It is my music, of course. I don't want to die with my music because I have something to share. And I believe that there's someone out there like you, like me, who can benefit from this stuff. I am doing this, I'm teaching you this as much as I'm teaching myself. I'm saying this to you as much as I'm saying to myself, because let me tell you something. At the end of the day, we only fail ourselves, okay? But it is this kind of knowledge that gets us going to the top, right? So if you love what I do, if you like what you've just heard, I'll ask you now to hit the subscription button if you are not in my channel already as a subscriber, and hit the thumbs up button just to give me that, that cheering so I can keep going, all right? I need that too. And on top of that, you can also hit the bell button so that every time I share good stuff like this, you'll be the first one to be notified so that you keep on moving forward just like you have been. Remember, you're always selling. Don't sell yourself short. Hello, Mom. I'm asking for your 2 minutes to talk about our smart kid tablets that are gonna help your kids study while having a lot of fun, and I promise you're gonna love it.